Breaking news this morning, U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict. What Iran's foreign ministry is saying after the U.S. strikes 3 nuclear sites. Plus, developing details in the escalating conflict, and later a briefing from the Secretary of Defense and Air Force General.
And closer to home, we're going to continue to see very hot temperatures today. All the full forecast coming up.
Thanks for waking up with us this morning. It's Sunday morning, June 22nd. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, and you're watching Weekend Mornings. Breaking news this morning, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and General Dan Kane will meet in the Pentagon. Now, that's for a briefing after President Donald Trump announces the United States carried out a, quote, very successful attack on several nuclear sites in Iran. The president posted on social media that military planes dropped bombs on 3 sites. He says all of the U.S. planes are now outside Iran's airspace and congratulates the military teams, calling them great American warriors. This military action came just 1 day after the president said he was giving Iran 2 weeks to negotiate an end to a nuclear program. Now, instead, the U.S. struck the nuclear sites to support Israel, who launched an attack last week to eliminate Iran's alleged nuclear capabilities.
This cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes.
He boasts about the strength of the U.S. military and its success, saying, quote, there's no military in the world that could have done what we did. Now, a handful of hours ago, Iran's foreign ministry says the U.S. has itself launched a dangerous war against Iran. He states the world must not forget that it was the United States during an ongoing diplomatic process that betrayed diplomacy by supporting the aggressive actions of the genocidal and lawless Israeli regime, adding that Iran, quote, reserves its right to resist with full force against U.S. military aggression to defend Iran's security and national interests. Now, reaction has been pouring in on both sides of the aisle here in Wisconsin since yesterday's strike. In a statement on the strikes, Democratic State Representative Mark Pocan says Donald Trump just bombed Iran without any authorization from Congress. Congress must pass Representative Thomas Massey's War Powers Resolution to block Trump from dragging the U.S. into an unconstitutional war in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Republican Senator Ron Johnson expresses support for the president, saying, quote, Iran has been at war with the U.S. since 1979. They are the largest state sponsor of terrorism. I agree with President Trump that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And just in this morning at 6 a.m., Russia's foreign ministry, quote, strongly condemned the U.S. airstrikes on nuclear facilities, calling them, quote, a gross violation of international law, the UN Charter, and UN Security Council resolutions. The ministry warns of potential radiological consequences. Now let's switch gears here and get you ready for your day with a look at the forecast. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has what you need to know this morning.
Yeah, we're going to continue to see those very hot temperatures. Pretty much yesterday's forecast will be today's. We are going to continue to be under that heat advisory. This is going to last through Monday, so Monday is going to be very hot as well. Looking at the current temperatures right now, we are in the middle to upper 70s. Some areas are actually in the lower 80s, if you can believe it. And these are basically the low temperatures that we've seen this morning so far. And if the temperatures don't drop any further for the rest of the day, that would break the record for the warmest low temperature on this date. And taking a look at the records, previous record was 74, and we may break it by 4 degrees. Now, the record high for today is 96. I don't expect us to get to that level, and I certainly don't expect us to get to 97, which would break the record, but we're still going to be close, and the record for the warmest low may be broken tomorrow as well. So we're going to continue to see these very hot temperatures, middle to lower 90s today, plenty of sunshine. That's going to continue for tomorrow, and as we look at tonight's forecast, it's going to be another very mild morning for tomorrow. And in the afternoon, although we are going to see some rainfall, we are going to see those high temperatures still in the lower 90s, at least for southern Wisconsin, maybe 80s further north. Now, I'll talk more in detail about those storms because some of them could be severe, and beyond that, we're going to see a lot of chances of storms this week. So I'll talk more in detail about the rainfall coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. We will check back in just a bit. Happening today is the Strawberry Shortcake Social. Larson House Museum will feature McFarland's best strawberry shortcake. Bring the family to enjoy live entertainment, lawn games, and free tours. And of course, strawberry shortcake. The strawberries are picked fresh and the shortcake is homemade. Beverages and hot dogs will also be served, and all proceeds benefit the McFarland Historical Society. Again, that's today from 1 to 5. Madison police are searching for a suspect who broke into a business on the city's southwest side. Police say a burglar broke a window to get into a business on Raymond Road late Friday night. They confirm computer tablets were stolen. The business was closed at the time of the robbery. When officers arrived at the scene, the suspect had already left. Police say the suspect has not been located and there is no other information available at this time. A sailboat capsized near Picnic Point Saturday afternoon. Madison Fire Department confirms it occurred a quarter-mile east of Picnic Point at 3 p.m. 2 people were on the boat, and officials have not yet confirmed if there were injuries at this time. A 53-year-old man is critically injured after being trapped underneath a skid steer. Multiple agencies responded to State Highway 60 yesterday. The man was freed from the skid steer by fire department personnel and transported with life-threatening injuries. Beloit police need your help finding a missing boy. Officials want to safely reconnect him with his guardians. His name is Kulik. If you've seen him or have information, call the non-emergency line at 608-757-2244 or go through p3tips.com/482. One of Madison's most debated events rolled through downtown yesterday. The 15th World Naked Bike Ride is meant as a celebration of body positivity and a protest against oil dependency. The event garnered scrutiny from lawmakers in 2023 after a 10-year-old girl joined the ride. A state assembly committee approved a pair of bills that year barring minors from participating in the event and making it a crime to intentionally expose oneself. However, those measures did not become law.
You know, everybody notices because it's an annual thing. 50 to 75 of them bicycles that came by this year.
Expressing their personal freedom, and
It's a way to get a little attention.
Pretty well-mannered crew. Nobody was like being a knucklehead or.
You do not have to be naked to participate in the ride. Now to our health news this morning. More people are getting outside now that the weather is warming, and aside from staying safe in those extreme temperatures, it's important to stay safe from stinging insects. Our Kyrian Lee joins us for this morning's health conversation with SSM Health family medicine physician and wellness coach Dr. Rupa Shah.
We need to be prepared for bee and wasp stings as we venture out this season. Dr. Shaw is here now with some tips. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So how can you tell if you're having an allergic reaction versus a normal reaction to a sting?
Yeah, so a normal reaction, I mean, you're definitely going to get some redness, some mild swelling at the site. Beyond that, it should, take care of itself. However, in a more severe allergic reaction, what we call anaphylaxis, your entire immune system is going to react, and you're going to have this huge release of histamine. So people can have hives or a rash all over. They might notice some tongue or lip swelling. Your throat may even start feeling itchy or that it's harder to breathe. You might feel lightheaded, dizzy. These are all signs of a very severe allergic reaction where you need immediate medical attention.
So yes, that allergic reaction, immediate medical attention.
Yes.
But how do you treat a sting if you don't have an allergic reaction?
Yeah, so if you're not having an allergic reaction, the best thing, or the first thing really, is to get rid of the stinger if you can. And you really want to try and just scrape it or maybe use some tweezers, being really careful not to squeeze the, into the skin, the rest of the venom. So you really want to scrape it and get it off. And then you can just apply some ice for the swelling and maybe a little hydrocortisone or calamine lotion for the itching that might result from the sting.
Yes, and I know there are lots of things we can do to try to prevent stings. So what can we do first and foremost?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Especially everyone's gonna be outside working their garden, having picnics, those types of things. But a few things you can do if you're having like a sugary drink outside, make sure you're keeping that covered, keeping lids on those types of things, because they're obviously those insects are attracted to that. When you drink out of your straw, make sure there's nothing hiding in the straw. If you have food nearby, keep that covered. Or if you're done with like an empty plate of food at a picnic, make sure you're putting it in the trash and keeping the trash covered to keep some of those insects away as well.
Yes, we want to avoid stings at all costs this summer.
Yes, definitely.
All right, well, Dr. Shaw, before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Wellness with Dr. Shaw.
Dr. Shaw, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And before we head to break, here's your morning motivation, and the author is unknown.
Many people are afraid of the dark, but the real tragedy are those who are afraid of the light.
I just love this because it really encourages people to reshape their thinking and to reframe the darkness and the negative into a positive.
Yeah, and I have to say, this has got to be one of the deepest quotes we've had so far. That definitely, when I see that quote, it's like, wow. Yeah, that's very well said.
Don't be afraid of the light, and we'll be back right after this.
And I'll have more details on just how hot these temperatures will be.
AAA is expecting 72 million Americans to make a great getaway this July 4th holiday at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Customs officials say wait times are down because new enhanced passenger processing technology uses facial recognition, decreasing the wait time by 25%. Now, AAA expects a record high of drivers on the road over the 4th at near 62 million. That's up by 1.3 million from last year. Now, Jacob, I sure hope those drivers have some AC in their car.
My car last year, the AC broke. I did get it fixed, and it's still working right now. But
that makes one of us.
Last year was definitely a rough one. So I'm excited for this year's AC.
You know what? My car is very tall, so even though the AC still doesn't work, the windows roll all the way down, so I have a lot of wind flow throughout.
Plus, at least right now, it's not too bad at this hour, but it is.
At this hour, but we're gonna have triple digits, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. The heat index values will get there for sure. Let's take a look at the alert day information because it is going to remain in the forecast for all of today, and it is going to continue for Monday as well. Heat index values for those afternoon hours are going to be near 100. And looking at the forecast, or the heat index forecast, they're in the upper 70s already at this hour, but they're going to get to around 100 to 105 during the afternoon and evening hours. And we're going to have a similar situation for tomorrow, at least for southern Wisconsin. Heat index values near 100. Notice further northwest, or further north and northwest, I should say, the heat index values will be a bit lower. Now, at this hour, we are expecting some thunderstorms, which is why it is noticeably lower for some areas. But in general, we're going to see that cold front kind of move through, which will bring in some cooler temperatures, but they'll still be fairly warm. However, in general for Tuesday, although it still might feel warm, it is going to feel a lot better for certain. Still might see those heat index values get close to 90 in far southern Wisconsin. Now, a big reason for those cooler temperatures is we have a good chance of some showers and thunderstorms, and some of those storms are expected to be severe. Slight risk for most of the area, marginal risk in far southeast Wisconsin. And as far as the most likely hazards, the strong winds are the most likely, but we could see some minor hail. Can't rule out an isolated tornado either. So let's take a look at that rainfall forecast. For all of today and most of tomorrow, we actually will be dry. We'll see sunny skies to start the day, but in the afternoon, we will start to see some of these showers and storms move in to central Wisconsin, bringing in the possibility of severe weather for you folks. But in southern Wisconsin, the best chance will be during the evening, as we'll see those showers and thunderstorms move through our area kind of just before sunset, if not a little bit after. And it looks like we'll see about one round of severe weather for everyone. And then once that clears out, temperatures will be better, but we still might see some showers on the back end of this system. And we're just going to continue to see the chance of storms as we get into the middle of the week, especially Tuesday through Thursday. We are going to see several rounds of these possible storms, although the severe weather risk doesn't look to be too high after Monday night. So best chance of rain does look to be Tuesday night, but best chance of severe weather will be tomorrow evening. And then as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to continue to see the chance of storms. And then the end of the week, the storm risk does decrease a little bit, but it still will be there. So overall, the story after those temperatures cool down will be the rainfall. We could be seeing several inches of rain in total over the next week. Temperatures are still going to feel warm, even though we aren't going to be quite as hot as what we are today or tomorrow. We are still going to see highs near 80 at the best, and it's still going to be pretty humid. So the feels like temperatures, although not going to be near 100, they could still be in the 90s, despite the fact that high temperatures will be in the 80s. So these summer-like conditions are going to continue. It's just obviously when you get to Tuesday, it's going to feel a lot better because yesterday, today, and tomorrow are just going to be very, very hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are going to have some tips to help you guys and keep your pets safe later on, so stick around for that. Jacob, thank you very much. Still ahead on weekend mornings, a dazzling night at the Duck Pond, how their southpaw starting pitcher shoved his way to history. Next in sports on weekend mornings. But first, a look at your winning Powerball numbers. Keep it here.
The Madison Mallards are in their 25th season in action and have played roughly 1,800 games in their franchise's history. But only once has a Mallard tossed a solo no-hitter. But last night at the Duck Pond, history was revised by the sword of a southpaw by the name of Isaac Milburn, trying to finish off a no-hitter. Yes, you heard that right, a no-hitter, and he gets the job done. Just the second solo no-no in Mallard's history, and he was 2 walks shy of a perfect game. Have yourself a night, Mr. Milburn, or a morning, Mr. Milburn. You earned it. The Brewers have been as hot as the weather outside, looking to win their 5th in their last 7, playing the Twins, who couldn't get out of their own way. Scoreless in the first, and the Minnesota catcher Ryan Jeffers sails a throw into the outfield, and the Crew take an early lead. And later, Isaac Collins, a Twin Cities native, finishes off his hometown team with a liner to left that could not be corralled. The Brewers beat up on the Twins again, winning it 9-0. Staying in the big leagues for a bit because Drake Baldwin, Madison's own, and one of the favorites for the NL Rookie of the Year award, keeps proving why he's in that race. He's one of 2 Madison West Regents to ever reach the major leagues, and he hit a 3-run home run last night, propelling his Braves to a win. And speaking of Madison West, to the pitch we go. The Regents were looking to take the state soccer crown against Muskego, and they would have some work to do in the first, make that the second half, down 1-0, and Elsie Watson strikes a shot over the keeper for the equalizer, and that would mark Watson's second game-tying goal in the state tournament. This one would head to penalties, where the Warriors would close it out as Muskego marks their 4th straight girls state soccer title, leaving Madison West as the Division I runner-up. More state soccer, Edgewood playing Catholic Memorial in the D3 state championship, trailing 3-1 in the second half, and Lauren Metner, how about that? She scores her 2nd goal of the day, getting her squad within 1 in a battle of the Crusaders, but ultimately it would be the Crusaders of Catholic Memorial that came out on top. They win the state title 4-2, the final score. And we finish on the basketball floor with my favorite and the best 2 words in sports. Game 7. Tonight, the NBA Finals head to a winner-take-all for the first time since 2016. And for Oshkosh native Tyrese Halliburton, he's just trying to take it all in.
Just fully focused on Game 7, and I'm trying to take it just a moment at a time, really enjoying what we're doing and understanding, like, this is, going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest game most of us ever playing in our lives.
That's your morning sports fix. Have a serene Sunday.
We hope you do too, Andrew. Now it's time to check in with firstborn meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Now, we're expecting some rain coming up.
Yeah, we're going to see plenty of rainfall this week. This is kind of after the temperatures. Today, we're not going to see the rainfall, and the rain tomorrow will be a little bit later in the day. But looking at all the rain chances this week, like I mentioned, we do have that chance of the showers and storms for Monday, late afternoon and evening. Could see some severe weather with that, but the chance of rain, that's going to continue for really the rest of the week, especially for the middle of the week. Now, the severe weather risk does look to be pretty low after Monday, but the chance of storms will be fairly high, especially for Madison and areas to the northwest. Places further south may not see quite as much rainfall, but we'll still see the chance of rain at certain points. And again, it looks like Tuesday through Thursday will be the best chance of rain. Once we get to Friday, we may not see quite as much, but by the time we get there, we're still going to see maybe over 2 inches of rain for some locations. Again, Madison and areas to the west and northwest will have the best chance for that rainfall. Further south, not quite as much, but still going to see a good amount of rain. And looking, kind of recapping the best chance of rain, it'll looks like Tuesday night, and Wednesday we'll see the most rain.
Thanks, Jacob. Breaking news this morning, as the U.S. enters the conflict between Iran and Israel, the U.S. has launched strikes against Iran targeting 3 nuclear facilities. President Trump said the objective of the strikes was to end Iran's nuclear threat. As CBS's Christian Benavides reports, this came 9 days after Israel first launched its offensive against the Islamic Nation.
In an address to the nation late Saturday, President Trump warned Iran not to strike back after the U.S. conducted airstrikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities.
This cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised U.S. involvement in the ongoing war between Iran and Israel.
History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons.
News of the strike comes hours after it was revealed B-2 bombers were dispatched from Missouri to Guam. The B-2 bombers are capable of carrying barrack-busting bombs, capable of destroying the kinds of underground nuclear facilities Iran was believed to possess.
The strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will hold a rare news conference to give details of the attack. There is concern for the safety of the 40,000 U.S. military soldiers stationed in the region, and there has been some bipartisan backlash over whether President Trump unconstitutionally bypassed Congress to execute an act of war. In a social media post, Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky, a Republican, wrote, "This is not constitutional." Christian Benavides, CBS News.
In New York, the NYPD announced stepped-up patrols. Major cities around the country are stepping up security over concerns of potential retaliation from Iran. Iran's foreign minister posted on X that the U.S. strikes have blown up any possibility of diplomacy with the Americans or Europeans. Around 2 a.m., Iran retaliated to the U.S. strike, firing 40 missiles into Israel. Israel reports more than 80 injuries and that it took out 2 Iranian F-5s. Now, we are expecting that press conference to begin shortly. Coming up, Senator Bernie Sanders. Welcome back. You just heard a CBS News break with reaction from retired General McKenzie, Iranian civilians, and a briefing from the Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and General Dan Kane at the Pentagon this morning. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. It's Sunday, June 22nd. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn. Now, we did have some breaking news this morning, as you all have heard. So now to our local coverage, Jacob Montesano has a look at the first warn forecast. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Michelle Renee. It's still going to be a very hot one. Heat advisories are still in effect for the rest of today, and this is going to be the case for tomorrow. And as we look at the current temperatures, already in the lower 80s for some areas, upper 70s for some. And throughout the afternoon, we're going to see very hot temperatures, but we'll also see plenty of sunshine, so there's really no chance of rain. But that's not the case for tomorrow and the rest of the week, so I'll have more.
As we prepare for these temperatures this morning, it's important to make sure our furry friends are prepared as well. Extreme temperatures are no joke. Dane County Humane Society says to watch out for heat stroke symptoms. That includes excessive panting, drooling, lethargy, fever, vomiting, seizures, and collapse. Give your pet extra water and offer ways to cool off like ice cubes and fans. Take your walks in the morning or evening when it's a bit cooler, and brush your pet regularly. That helps ward off summer skin problems and keeps your pet cool. Remember, it is not recommended to shave fur down to the skin, as that coat protects animals from getting sunburn. And happening today, you can make a summer solstice wish and throw it into the bonfire pit. You can do that at Sassy's Neighborhood Association Summer Solstice Celebration. Head to Old Birch Park today between 4 and 10 p.m. for a celebration of community, nature, humanity, and life on Earth. Canoes, crafts, family games, and musical performances will also be provided ahead of the event. And that bonfire is at 8:30. In today's Health Watch, the FDA has approved the world's only twice-a-year shot to prevent HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. The vaccine is marketed under the name Yes2Go and can be used by both men and women. 2 clinical trials show the injection is nearly 100% effective at stopping new HIV infections. The medical breakthrough comes as the Trump administration eyes deep cuts to HIV prevention funding. In the U.S., there are still more than 30,000 new infections of HIV each year. Now let's take a look outside our weather window. Jacob Montesano is here with our First Warn weather. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle, Renee. It's going to be hot today. We've been talking about it all weekend. Heat index values for the afternoon will be near 100, and this is going to be the case for Monday as well, especially for southern Wisconsin. Areas off to the northwest will see temperatures not quite as bad, but still pretty warm. And then starting Tuesday, it will be better, although still humid. Now, the other story for tomorrow is that we're expecting severe weather, slight risk for just about everybody, and this is mostly going to be the case for the afternoon and evening. The first half of Monday will be dry. Also, today will be completely dry. And for the afternoon hours, central Wisconsin will see some showers and storms. But for the evening, that's when southern Wisconsin will have the best chance of these showers and thunderstorms, possibly producing strong winds, some minor hail. Could even see an isolated tornado or two as well. And this is going to clear out, at least the severe weather will clear out initially, but we're still going to see plenty of rain behind this first wave of rainfall. And overall, there's going to be a lot of thunderstorm chances for the rest of the week. However, the good news is that after Monday, the severe weather risk does look to be relatively low, but we're still going to see plenty of rainfall, especially the Tuesday through Thursday time frame might clear up a little bit towards the end of the week, but we still have a chance of rainfall. Now, although temperatures will be not as hot as today and tomorrow, we are going to see high humidity values, so it's still going to be pretty summer-like. But once the storms do roll through, we're likely we'll see some cooler temperatures behind those storms, and in general, it still won't be as bad as the next 2 days.
And now a look at what's to come on For the Record.
Hey, Michelle, Renee. Coming up this morning on For the Record, we delve into the breakdown of the budget negotiations and the infighting among the Republican caucus, as well as we sit down with Attorney General Josh Kaul about a state Supreme Court decision that returned powers to his office. That's ahead this morning at 10:30.
Thanks, Will. And Jacob, it has been a day, and it's going to get hotter and hotter throughout the rest of it.
Yeah, the forecast today is going to be very similar to yesterday, unfortunately. Now, it was funny. Yesterday, I saw my grandma, and she was outside, and she was like, "It's so nice out." And I'm like, what?
In the heat?
Yeah, she likes the hot temperatures, but I still don't understand how she still enjoyed the weather yesterday.
That's hilarious, because when I talked to my grandma yesterday, my mom had invited her to go out to like a farmer's market type thing, and she said, "Oh no, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot." She said, if it's outside, I'm not going.
It's funny how we react differently. Now, it's going to be hot again for Monday, but then we see temperatures be better for the rest of the week. Still humid with a good chance of rainfall. Also could see some severe weather Monday evening, but the story for the middle of the week will be the rain rather than the heat.
Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Coming up next is CBS Sunday Morning, followed by Face the Nation and For the Record. Our next newscast is coming up at 5:30 p.m. And as always, find us streaming on 24/7 on Channel 3000+.